Okay, another windy day here in Texas, and we are going to do some testing on a couple of scopes here. I've got two 1-4 by 24 scopes, about the same price range, and figured I'd go ahead and do a comparison video on them. I've got a Leatherwood hi-lux 1-4 by 24, and I've also got a Vortex Crossfire 2. Both of the scopes are in the same price range. I've got a spec sheet here that I wrote a couple things down, so I'll read it off to you. I didn't want to forget it, so that's why I wrote it down. Length on the Crossfire is 9.8 inches. The hi-lux is 10. The weight on the Crossfire is 14.8 ounces. The hi-lux is 15. Eye relief on the Crossfire is a little bit longer. The eye relief is 4 inches versus 3 with the Leatherwood. Both have a 30mm tube diameter. The reticle on the Crossfire is a V-plex versus the Leatherwood scope here has a mil dot with bullet drop compensator. So that's going to be a little bit of unfair advantage here for the hi-lux. Field of view at 100 yards. 96.1 feet to 24.1 feet on the Vortex, and 95 foot to 26 foot on the hi-lux. And what that means is 95 foot at 1 power and 26 foot at 4 power. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys that aren't familiar with those kind of measurements. The Crossfire scope has a VIP warranty. If anything ever breaks in that scope, they'll fix it or replace it. The Leatherwood scope here also has a lifetime warranty, but it's not as good of a warranty. They will protect you from manufacturer defects. You know, not as good of a warranty there. They're both waterproof, both nitrogen purged, and they're both second focal plane. The Crossfire scope will come in right around 150 bucks. Retail is about $220, and then the hi-lux scope here comes in, you can find it around for less than $150, around $120 is what I think I paid for it. I've got a Weaver mount here, one-piece mount on the Vortex, and then on the Leatherwood scope I've got a NC Star quick detach. It's the one that has a removable rear base here, so you can just run a red dot if you want to. So not the highest quality scope mounts on either one. But we're going to test them out and see how they do. The gun that I'm going to be using today is the ATI Omni Hybrid Max. And I wasn't going to use this gun today, but the reason why I decided to go ahead and do it for the testing was to put some more rounds through it and see how this thing is gonna run. So right now I've got about 100 rounds through it with one malfunction. But I mean, you know, that's pretty normal with break-in. So we're going to start out at 25 yards, start at 0. I'm going to begin with the hi-lux scope, and after 25 yards we'll move up to 70 under that tree over there and see where we're at. And then we'll do the same thing with the Vortex, and then we'll do a comparison. You know, I'll rate the optics on how I think they did. So let's get to some shooting. Alright, well I plan to use the ATI for both scopes to keep the playing field even, but I had an unexpected problem. Since the upper receiver on the ATI is polymer and not mil-spec, my scope mount here would not fit on it without adjusting it. And of all the Allen keys that I brought today, I do not have the proper one to readjust the base here. So I put it back on another AR-15 with a mil-spec receiver, and we're just going to have to test the scopes on different guns. So I've got the Crossfire there on the Omni, and the hi-lux scope here on this Palmetto State build. Okay, let's get started. ATI polymer AR-15, and I'm just going to be shooting some of my own ammo here. This stuff is decent. It's sub MOA, full metal jacket. Going to be using a 10-round SAA magazine. Keep things easy here. All right. Alright, here we go. I'm going to start off by trying to shoot at the paper target and just see where we're at, and then I'm going to see how much adjustment it takes to get on target here. How many rounds. Got 10 rounds in the magazine right now. Okay. Set the scope up on 4 power and do both of them the same way. Okay, quite a bit left. Left. There we go, getting close. So 3 rounds, I'm in the bullseye now. Right below. That's 5 rounds right below the bullseye. Alright, 10 rounds, all of them but 2 are right around the bullseye, and the last 3 I about got in the same hole. So let's go ahead and do 10 more at the top target, and then I think we'll be able to move out to 70 yards. The reticle is a little hazy to me. It's got some distortion around around the outer ring here, but the reticle looks good, and I really like the way the turrets are set up. Really nice, positive clicks. Yeah, it feels really good, nice and solid, and I like that it has caps. So that's going to be a difference between the hi-lux over there. That was all on 4 power. I tell you what, let me go to switch over to 1. See how that is. Under 1 power, the scope still looks really good. There's still some distortion around the ring. The reticle looks good. All right, cool. Let's go check it out. 25 yards. and see how we did. All right, so this bottom target was what I shot first. That was my very first round, second round, and then one of these was my third round. And then after that, I kind of played with it. These were my last 3 here. So there's the first 10 rounds. After 2, I got it right around where it needed to be at 25 yards. And then that's my last 10 rounds on 1 power. So no magnification there. Follow-up shots were a breeze. Definitely no problem. Pretty happy with that. Let's switch over to the Leatherwood. Okay, I've got the Leatherwood scope ready to go. Gonna do the same thing. Start on 4 power and then switch it over to 1. Same ammo and all that stuff. Well, my camera died somehow, or quit recording right in the middle of that. But I did the same thing with this scope here. I shot 10 rounds at 4 power magnification, 10 rounds at 1 power. You know, I could keep both eyes open on both settings here at 25 yards, no problem. The reticle and the glass on the hi-lux, the Leatherwood scope, are a little bit clearer, a little more crisp, and also I don't have the distortion around the ring like I did on the Crossfire there. So this one, I don't know, I think, like I said, it's a little more crisp and clean. But let's go take a look at the target down there and see how we did. I definitely like, I like the zero locking feature that the Leatherwood has, but I don't like that it doesn't have any caps and you can just bump it all around. That's kind of not too cool. All right, so the bottom one here is the hi-lux Leatherwood. That's my first shot, second shot, third shot, and then all the 7 were in that little small ring there. And then there is all 10 from the 1 power magnification. Let's take these things out to 70 yards and see how they do. All right, we got some shade over here at 70 yards, but unfortunately it's not any less windy, so I may have to cut out this audio. But we're gonna start up with the Vortex Crossfire 2 first on the ATI. And again, we're 70 yards downrange with some good wind. See how we do. So we're pretty high here at 70 yards, which is to be expected. Bring this sucker down some. There we go. Got a steel plate down there that I'm shooting at right now. There's 10 more rounds, some shot the target. First couple I was shooting at that steel plate. Let's do some more. right, just a hair. Whew. This wind is pretty killer. Okay, I've got the Leatherwood hi-lux scope set up. Let's put 20 rounds through it. See how it goes. I'm going to have to go down quite a bit. All right. A little high. Oh, way too low. Still too low. Couldn't quite tell, but I think I was a little low on those. I'm out of hollow points, so I'm going to have to switch it up with some, or sorry, I'm out of full metal jacket. Switch it up with some soft points here. Pretty good overall. We'll go down there and take a look at the targets. I'm not too worried about the accuracy really of these. I think they're going to be just about as accurate. The reticle is going to play a part also in that. So I'm not going to, you know, my groups are not going to be what we're testing these scopes on. Okay, back down from shooting at 70 yards with both scopes. Took a couple shots at that steel there to kind of see where I was hitting. This top target is the Vortex Crossfire. I was aiming right here. Kind of, you know, started around here and brought it in towards the middle. And then this bottom one is the Leatherwood scope. I started here, kind of brought it up where it needed to be, and then those were the last 10 rounds. I started over in this direction and then brought it to the right. All right, we're back here on the tabletop after shooting both of these scopes today. and I could definitely say I've got a good feel for both of them. So right off the bat, without going into a whole bunch of details, I think I would take the Leatherwood hi-lux scope here if I was going for quality, like a glass quality, maybe longer range shooting. But I think durability is probably going to go to the Vortex Crossfire. And the biggest reason I say that is because of the covered scope turrets. These turrets right here that click all around and have no way to lock in place or cover them are just too easy to bump. If you're hunting or something like that, it's probably okay. But I mean, most people aren't going to hunt with a 1-4 power. This is more of like a defensive type scope. So this thing, you're probably going to have your gun on a sling. You may have a chest rig or plate carrier or something like that, and you're going to be swinging this thing, from front to back on a 2-point sling possibly. And the little bit, I kind of messed with it a little bit, wearing a cross-draw vest and having the whole entire gun on my body and moving it from position to position. These scope turrets kept moving around, and it was really frustrating. If you just, like say you have this gun on your back and you pull it out, swing it around, and what if you do that? Man, that's a pretty good distance off at 100 yards. So I really don't like that, but I do like the clarity and I like the reticle a lot more. The Vortex here, I think, has a little bit better fit and finish overall. I like the way everything feels. It's nice and smooth versus this finish is a little bit rough. It's not bad at all. It still looks great, but this one's a little bit smoother. They both came with similar style scope caps. Give you a look around the whole thing. The Vortex here, I'm not sure, but I think you can take that screw out and thread in a throw lever. I know you can do that with the hi-lux or the Leatherwood scope. They sell a little adapter. And this part right here is nice and sticks out. See that? Sticks out pretty far, so you can throw it really quickly. But the Vortex doesn't have anything like that. It's still, nice and knurled here. It's not hard to get onto at all. I don't know if I don't think you'll be able to see the reticle, but let me give it a try. Stick it on 1 power and see if you can. There you go. So there's the reticle. That's called a V-Plex. It's just pretty much a regular old reticle. It gets a little bit thinner in the middle, and it was good for the 70-yard shooting and shorter that I did today. This is a really nice reticle here on the Leatherwood. I like it a lot. It's mil dots with a bullet drop compensator, and I can't remember the exact numbers, but you got like a 50-yard or 100-yard zero in the center, and then 200, 3, 4, 5, all the way out to 600-yard bullet drop. So that's really, really neat. And the mil dots are nice and defined. They're easy to see. In the video of me shooting it, you heard me say that the Vortex here was a little bit fuzzy, kind of around the outside ring when I was shooting at 4 power, and still a little bit blurred when I was shooting at no power. But the hi-lux scope here was super crisp all around. So anyway, like I said, I think I would probably go with the Leatherwood if I'm going for, a better sight picture. But if you want durability, I think the Vortex is the way to go. They also have a really good warranty too. But anyway, that's my take on it. Hopefully I gave you guys, some ideas or some stuff to think about. Help you make a decision if you're thinking about buying one of these budget scopes. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments.